On one side, the pyramid, a monument of eternal stone, reaching for the heavens, built for gods and the afterlife. A symbol of mystery, magic, and divine power. On the other, the Colosseum, an arena of concrete and arches, built for the masses, the blood, and the roar of the crowd. A symbol of practical engineering, brutal ambition, and human power. In the grand saga of human history, no two civilizations capture the imagination more than ancient Egypt and ancient Rome. Egypt was the ancient, immovable object. Rome was the unstoppable, all-conquering force. They are the two greatest heavyweights of the ancient world. But in a head-to-head battle, which one was truly greater? This isn't just a history lesson, this is the ultimate showdown. To settle the score, we're putting them into the arena for 4 brutal rounds. Engineering, military might, cultural influence, and enduring legacy. Who will win? Stick with us to the very end for the final verdict. Let the clash begin.
This round is a clash of philosophies. Is greatness measured in building for eternity or in building for empire? First, the case for Egypt, the masters of stone. When the pharaohs built, they built to awe both mortals and the gods. Their currency was time itself. The primary evidence? The pyramids of Giza. For nearly 4,000 years, the Great Pyramid of Khufu was the tallest man-made structure on Earth. It is a mathematical marvel, aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points. It's built from 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing over 50 tons. Moved and placed with a precision that still baffles engineers today. We think we know how they did it, but the sheer logistical scale is almost incomprehensible. But Egypt wasn't just pyramids. Travel south to the temples of Karnak and Luxor. You stand dwarfed by a forest of colossal columns, every inch carved with intricate hieroglyphics. These were not just buildings, they were stone mountains, carved to honor their gods and ensure the pharaoh's journey into the afterlife. The Egyptian argument is simple. Their greatest works have stood for 4,500 years. They are monuments to eternity.
Now, the case for Rome, the engineers of the people. The Romans didn't just build to awe, they built to function. They built to conquer, to control, and to change the very nature of daily life. Their secret weapon? Opus Caementicium, Roman concrete. This was the single greatest architectural invention of the ancient world. It was cheap, strong, and could be molded into any shape, allowing them to break free from the simple post and lintel construction of the Egyptians and Greeks. With concrete, they gave the world the arch, the vault, and the dome. The evidence? Look at the Colosseum, a stadium for 50,000 people with complex crowd control, retractable awnings, and even the ability to be flooded for mock naval battles. Or gaze up at the Pantheon in Rome. To this day, its magnificent coffered dome is the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. It has survived for nearly 2 millennia, a testament to its perfect design. But Rome's true genius wasn't just in its monuments, it was in its infrastructure. They built 50,000 miles of paved Roman roads, the arteries of their empire. so straight and durable that some are still used today. They built the aqueducts, towering stone bridges that carried fresh water for hundreds of miles into their cities, providing public baths, fountains, and sewer systems. The Romans didn't just build wonders, they built the modern city.
This is incredibly tough. Egypt's monuments are a triumph of longevity and monumental scale. But Roman innovation in materials and public works fundamentally changed how humans live. The Egyptians built for the dead, the Romans built for the living. For its sheer utility, innovation, and the scale of its network, not just a single monument, round one goes to Rome. Egypt was a regional superpower for millennia. Protected by vast deserts to the east and west, the Mediterranean to the north, and cataracts on the Nile to the south, it was a fortress. In its New Kingdom period, Egypt was a fearsome offensive power. The Pharaohs' chariot armies were the ancient equivalent of a tank division, a thundering, terrifying force on the battlefield. Led by warrior pharaohs like Thutmose III and Ramesses the Great, who fought at the legendary Battle of Kadesh, Egypt dominated the Levant and Nubia. Their skilled archers were deadly. For 3,000 years, Egypt was the power to be feared. But its military, while strong, was largely defensive and adapted slowly. When new tactics and new powers emerged, the Sea Peoples, the Assyrians, the Persians, the Greeks, Egypt's dominance began to crack. And ultimately, it was conquered by the very civilization it faces in this ring.
Because Rome was not just a power, it was a system. The Roman military was the most professional, disciplined, and relentless war machine the world had ever seen. The heart of this machine was the legion. A legionary wasn't just a soldier, he was a full-time professional. He was standardized, equipped with his lorica segmentata armor, his massive scutum shield, and his short, deadly gladius stabbing sword. In battle, the legion was flexible and devastating. It could form the testudo, or tortoise, an armored shell impervious to arrows. It could fight in any terrain. But Rome's true military strength was threefold. 1. Engineering. A Roman legion on the march was a construction company. They built bridges, siege engines, and fortified camps every single night. They famously built a 55-mile wall across Britain, Hadrian's Wall, just to mark their border. 2. Adaptability. The Romans were terrible sailors. They were humiliated by Carthage in their first naval war. So what did they do? They captured a Carthaginian ship, reverse-engineered it, and built a fleet of 100 ships in 60 days. They then invented a new tactic, a boarding bridge called the corvus, to turn a sea battle into a land battle. They adapted, and they won. 3. Relentlessness. The Romans simply would not stop. They could lose an army of 50,000 men, as they did at Cannae, and they would simply raise another one.
This is not a fair fight. Egypt was a dominant Bronze Age power, but Rome was a military system that conquered and held territory from the deserts of Mesopotamia to the cold forests of Britain. They conquered the Greeks, the Gauls, the Carthaginians, and they conquered Egypt. This is not a fair fight. The victory for round 2 is an overwhelming win for Rome. With Rome taking the first 2 rounds, this debate is heating up. We're covering the clash of civilizations every week,
diving into the greatest empires, battles, and mysteries in history. If you love this kind of content and want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a showdown. Now, on to round 3, cultural influence, the thinkers. This round is about the soul of a civilization. What did they give the world in art, ideas, and thought? Here, Egypt's case is one of profound originality. For 3,000 years, Egyptian culture was remarkably stable, complex, and entirely its own. They gave us one of the world's first systems of writing, the beautiful and complex hieroglyphs. They invented papyrus, the world's first paper, which became the primary medium for recording knowledge for centuries. They gave us a 365-day calendar, a system so accurate it became the basis for the one we use right now. And then there is their spirituality. The Egyptian pantheon, Ra, Osiris, Isis, Anubis, and their intricate beliefs about the afterlife, all recorded in the Book of the Dead, have fascinated humanity ever since. Their art, with its iconic profile style and rigid poses, was not about realism. It was about conveying eternal divine order. This artistic style would go on to influence the earliest Greek art. Egypt's culture was a deep, self-contained well of ideas.
The case for Rome is different. If Egypt was the creator, Rome was the perfecter and the broadcaster. The Romans were masters of adaptation. They saw the brilliance of Greek culture, its art, its philosophy, its literature, and they fell in love with it. They adopted it, merged it with their own, and then, using the power of their empire, they spread that Greco-Roman culture to every corner of their world. They were the conduit that carried the ideas of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle from a small peninsula in Greece and made them the foundation of all Western thought. Rome's original contributions were more practical, but no less profound: language and law. Latin became the foundation for all Romance languages, and Roman law became the blueprint for Western legal systems.
Overall, this is the toughest round. Rome's role as the amplifier of Greek thought and the creator of Western legal structure is monumental. But this round is about cultural influence, and in that, we must consider originality. Rome was a brilliant adapter. Egypt was a brilliant creator. Egyptian culture, its art, its religion, its writing, its calendar, was born from the Nile mud, entirely unique. It influenced Greece, which in turn influenced Rome. Everything must trace its roots back. For its staggering originality and 3,000-year cultural reign that laid the groundwork for others to follow, round 3 goes to Egypt. We come to the final round. The score is 2-1 to Rome. This round decides it all. Which civilization left the deepest footprint on the world today? Egypt's legacy is the legacy of wonder. We are, all of us, obsessed with ancient Egypt. The word pharaoh evokes instant images of gold and power. Mummy speaks of dark tombs and ancient curses. Pyramid is a synonym for mystery. The entire field of Egyptology exists to study this one civilization. When Tutankhamun's tomb was opened, it set off a global Egyptomania that influenced art, design, and architecture in the 1920s.
Their monuments are icons of human history. Egypt's legacy is a timeless, breathtaking museum.
Rome's legacy is the legacy of foundation. We don't just study Rome, we live in it. The heritage of Rome is so baked into our daily lives that we don't even see it. Are you reading this in English? You are using the Roman alphabet. Do you live in a country with a Senate? That is a Roman word for a Roman concept. Do you admire the neoclassical architecture of your nation's capital, with its domes and columns? That is Roman. The system of law that governs you, the languages that cover half the globe, the roads that establish the layout of modern European cities, all Roman. And finally, Rome's most profound legacy. It was the vessel that spread Christianity. A small Jewish sect was persecuted, then adopted, and finally promoted by the Roman Empire, which transformed it into the world's largest religion, shaping the history of the entire planet for the next 2 millennia. Egypt's legacy inspires our imagination. It is a story we love to tell. Rome's legacy is the operating system of the Western world. It is the story we are. For its undeniable structural impact on the modern world, round 4 goes to Rome.
Let's look at the scorecard. Round 1, engineering, Rome. Round 2, military, Rome. Round 3, culture, Egypt. Round 4, legacy, Rome. The final score is 3-1. Ancient Egypt was a civilization of staggering longevity and profound originality. It lasted for 3,000 years, a feat few have ever matched. It was the first great light of history, and it rightly won its point for cultural creation. But Rome conquered Egypt, and more importantly, Rome conquered the future. Rome took the best ideas of the ancient world, perfected them, and spread them on a scale that had never been seen before, and has rarely been seen since. Its impact on our law, our language, our government, our religion, and our very way of thinking is immeasurable. In the ultimate clash of civilizations, while our hearts may belong to the mystery of the pyramids, our minds must bow to the power of the legions. The winner and the greater civilization is Rome.
Do you agree with our verdict? Or do you think the 3,000-year reign of Egypt makes it the undisputed champion? Let us know your winner in the comments below. This is one of the biggest debates in history, and we want to hear your voice.